You're listening to Fat White Women and the Black Men That Love Them, Marcus and Debra, Business and Pleasure. Written by Gareth Mayers, narrated by Daniel et al., 11 Labs AI. Chapter 1. Lunch. The conveyor belt slowed to a halt, and the 3,000 workers at Forest Filtered Water's bottling plant filed off the floor and into the hallways. The break room usually filled up after the first 5 minutes, so those who either didn't make it in time for a spot or wanted to avoid the crowd went outside for lunch. Marcus took his lunch break on a bench in the courtyard under a long pavilion. Not long after, a co-worker sat next to him and smiled. He returned the gesture, trying to recall her name. He remembered her from the orientation, and they had not too long started working together on the same crew. The women would monitor the filling process, then slap caps on the bottles, while the men stacked them on pallets and wrapped them in wrapping plastic. It was a simple job for simple pay. As Marcus opened his lunch container, his co-worker's name popped into his head. Debra.
That smells good. What's that?
She said, pulling him out of his thoughts. He grinned.
Oh, you like the way it smells? It's corn soup with dumplings, a West Indian dish. Try some.
I don't know. Dumplings are flour.
She blushed and glanced down at herself.
And as you can see, I should really be trying to lose some weight.
What you talking about, girl? You look fine.
Are you kidding? I'm almost 300 pounds. I need to lose at least 50.
Marcus shook his head.
But the weight going to all the right places. You just got to maintain where you're at right now.
Oh, stop it. You're the worst.
She giggled, her face getting redder with embarrassment.
Come on, just take one bite. One bite can't hurt, right?
Fine, fine.
She groaned.
But just a taste.
She put the spoon to her mouth, and her face lit up with a gasp. With a hand on her cheek, she turned to him.
Oh my God, that tastes amazing. Did you make that yourself?
Ah, that's what I like to hear. Yeah, I did make it actually. My ma taught me. But listen, if you think that's good, wait till you taste my dessert, 'cause that's my real specialty.
He presented her with another smaller bowl and opened it, saying,
Guava cheesecake.
Her eyes went wide.
Oh no, not cheesecake. That's my weakness. I really shouldn't though. I mean, no, I can't. I won't. Wait, is that jelly on top?
Yup, it has a layer of guava jelly on top and in the middle.
Seriously?
She groaned.
God, just one bite, Kay. Stop me if I want more. Ugh, why did I meet you? You're the devil.
He laughed, holding out the bowl. As she put the confectionery into her mouth, it seemed to melt away in seconds. It had a rich, sweet flavor that sent her into an almost orgasmic state.
No lie. That is literally the best cheesecake I have ever tasted.
She said,
You should open your own restaurant.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
He chuckled.
But a restaurant is a little far-fetched.
That was the beginning of Marcus's and Debra's friendship and what would become a ritual for them over the years they worked together. Marcus would make tasty dishes, and she would give him a much-needed ego boost with her compliments. At home, Marcus's life was a lot different. The polar opposite of his work relationship. He lived with his long-term girlfriend, Natalie, a foxy black mama with all the right curves. When she was 18, he had helped pay for her college education. Even after she had graduated and was finding it difficult to find work that suited her level of education, Marcus negotiated with his boss to get her hired as a clerical assistant. But she quickly, almost miraculously, rose through the ranks and began earning several times more than him. It had never been a problem for him, but she seemed to think it should be. She would want to go to expensive places that he couldn't afford and complained when she was forced to foot the bill. Arguments erupted, and it wasn't uncommon for her to focus on his shortcomings as a real man, his lack of ambition, and his easygoing attitude. Natalie would insist that he would get nowhere in life, and when he countered with any remark that seemed to shut her up for a time, she would simply jump to a different failing of his, and as a last resort, would attack his sexual performance. His Caribbean culture one where men were generally laid back and just wanted peace, meant he would try to stay quiet throughout most of her tirades, not adding any wood to the fire. To be successful at that method, he would ignore her, and when it got too bad, he would go for a walk. He did anything to extend his time away from her, like leaving earlier for work and staying back late, but he would not leave her. That was uncommon in his culture. Even his own father cheated on his mother time and time again, but they never split. They had bitter fights, both physical and verbal, but they stuck it out. So despite not being married to Natalie, he felt obligated to stay even when things went from bad to worse. Faced with increasing unhappiness at home and at work, eventually made him unsatisfied with even the simplicities of life. TV, sex, sleep, drinking, and eating were no longer enough and seemed tedious. The 9-to-5 routine he had done all his life had begun to take its toll on his mind. He had always believed that the most important thing about a job was that it was honest work, not if it made you rich. But now, with Natalie's influence and watching her getting a lot of job satisfaction, often working overtime, and being able to afford the nicer things that he could never buy for her, he began to feel inadequate. It put him on the lookout for something else, but with only a high school education, his hopes looked doubtful.